Well, to discuss housing challenges in the country and how best to address them, we are now being joined by engineer Harmony Kunu. He's a housing expert as well as the project director of Workers Affordable Properties. Thank you so much for being here tonight, Mr. Kunu. And let's look at the fact that Nigeria's housing deficit, according to the United Nations, stands at about 22 million. The federal government is planning to house about 1.5 million families, in its campaign, to really get more people to own houses. But the deficit is still so much. Let's talk about the private sector and how they can come in, really, to build more houses for the masses in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I think you're right by saying that 22 million is a deficit number. The rule of thumb is 10% of the population of the nation. So if you look at 10% of 200 million, it's about 20 million plus. So that's a number that is real. But the question is, how are we going to achieve this? The private sector have a very big role to play. It is not the duty of the government to go into construction and start building houses for people, but it is their duty to provide the enabling environment. I shuttle between Rwanda and Nigeria. So I will be talking more about Rwanda and Nigeria, trying to compare what they are doing. In Rwanda, for example, the deficit there is about 1.2 million. And the government have put in place some strategy to motivate private sector to be able to achieve that. So there are a lot of incentives, there are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of obstacles that the private sector usually face. For example, purchase of land. The government go ahead of the private sector to secure land from landowners, pay them those money for the land, and make them available for the private sector. So to develop the developers. So the idea of going through the challenges of purchase, the delay, the community youth issues and all that are totally removed. So all you need to do is, if you need to build affordable housing, you need to meet the government, apply the number of hectares of land you need. They allocate that to you, and they tell you the cost of the land. And they don't give you a margin order to pay immediately. You have a schedule to pay. So all you need to do is to start your project, and you move on. But over here, we have some delay, engaging a landowner in acquiring lands.
Well, it sounds so sweet and, juicy. For housing developments in Nigeria, but we know that for several decades now, housing for the people is not really being so. Yeah. One, maybe your own association, for example, is not collaborating enough with the Nigerian Institute of Architecture, the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, Nigerian Institute of Estate Valuers, and others. But how affordable are these houses when a one-bedroom goes for 7 million? And what are the local contents? It's a barrage of questions here.
First and foremost, we need to make a correction here.
Okay.
The Nigeria Housing Advocacy Group comprised of all these professionals that you mentioned of. So we're all working together to see how we can achieve providing affordable housing to the people. The issue is we don't have the enabling environment, the enabling conditions to be able to achieve that. Because when the cost of materials are far up there, it is difficult for you to,
like a bag of cement
a bag of cement is
4,600?
Almost 4,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, that's where the government needs to come in. Because when you're doing that, the government needs to find a way to reduce the cost for people building affordable housing. Now, let's talk about the three different categories of housing now. We have affordable housing, we have low cost, which is also like the social housing. Then you have the real estate,
the medium,
luxury houses. So what the government of Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda, and the East African countries, what they have done, and it's also similar in Europe, is to define affordable housing, to make sure that people who are in it benefit from the opportunity of ensuring that the cost of the building of those houses are achieved. You know, so the incentive are out there for them to be able to achieve that.
Right, for quality housing to be provided to the masses and not substandard quality.
Correct.
I wish I had more time, but we'd have to say thank you so much, Harmony Kunu, for joining us tonight on the program. And of course, we want to see more roofs on the heads of Nigerians, really. Not just talk, but let's see the action.
Absolutely. Thanks very much once again for joining us.